Yes, we are going to see about the salient features of double helix structure of a DNA here. Okay. Now the DNA, as I said, it has got a two strands, 5 prime to 3 prime and 3 prime to 5 prime, which get coiled. Okay, that forms a double helix structure. It's made up of two polynucleotide chain. Okay. Now which forms a backbone of this polynucleotide chain? No, sugar and phosphate. Okay, and the bases are present inside. That forms like a steps here. The base the two strands are paired through that weak hydrogen bond. Okay, adenine passes the thymine by the two weak hydrogen bond, cytosine with the guanine by three weak hydrogen bonds. Okay. Now the purine comes opposite the pyrimidine. This gives a uniform distance between the two strands. Okay, they get stacked one above the other. The two chains are called in a right-handed fashion, that is clockwise direction. Pitch of the helix is 3.4 nanometer. Pitch that tells about the length. Okay, and the number of base pair in each turn is about 10. The distance between the adjacent base pair is 0.34 nanometer, that is 3.4 angstrom. I tell you how it can be calculated. The two strands of the DNA, I told you, the two strands in sense 5 prime to 3 prime and 3 prime to 5 prime. These two strands, they get coiled. They get coiled like this. Helix, double helix. If you take one strand, it is get coiled. This is what helix. When two strands get coiled, there will be double helix structure. It get coiled like a ladder. Yes, ladder. Now which forms a backbone of this ladder? Pentose sugar and a phosphate, that forms a backbone, and which is projected inside. Nitrogen base is projected inside. Okay, this one pentose sugar phosphate, like this, right? Now the two chains have got anti-parallel polarity. That is, one chain has got a polarity 5 prime to 3 prime and the other one has got a polarity 3 prime to 5 prime. Okay, right. Now the distance between the two successive steps, two steps like this. The two steps, which is about 3.4 angstrom. In one complete turn of a DNA, this one is a one complete helix structure. Okay, this one one complete turn. One complete turn of a DNA molecule. How many nitrogen bases are now? 10 nitrogen bases are there. So the length of one complete turn, the length of the one complete turn is 34 angstrom. That is said to be helix length. We used to say pitch. So the diameter of a DNA molecule, what is diameter of DNA molecule now? The distance between a two phosphate, phosphate of the two strands, that is 20 angstrom. Okay, each step of ascent is represented by, is represented by pair of bases. Okay, right. In a nucleus of eukaryotes, DNA is get associated with the special protein called histone protein. And they form nucleoprotein. Nucleic acid plus histone protein is said to be nucleoprotein. The bond between the DNA and histone protein, DNA is a negatively charged and histone protein are positively charged. Okay, the bond between the DNA and histone protein by that what magnesium bivalent ion, that is said to be salt linkage. Okay, right. Let's see about the next step. We'll see about the types of DNA now. Types of DNA. On the basis of direction of a twisting, clockwise, anti-clockwise, on the basis of direction of a twisting, there are 5 types of a DNA. Okay, what are that now? S, A, B, C, D and Z. Okay, on the criteria, direction of a twisting, we used to say right-handed DNA, left-handed DNA. A, B, C, D are said to be right-handed DNA, Z is said to be left-handed DNA. Right-handed DNA in sense there are twistings of a clockwise direction. Left-hander in sense the twisting is of anti-clockwise direction. Okay, right. This the DNA which is proposed by Watson and Crick, no? Watson Crick is a B type of a DNA. Okay. Now when you say about a B type of DNA, yes. What's the helix length of a B type of DNA? Helix length. Helix length is 34 Armstrong. And if you take a number of base pairs, is 10 base pairs. Distance between a base pairs is a 3.4 Armstrong. What's the diameter of that? No, 20 Armstrong. This is about B form of a DNA. Okay. Now, zDNA, no? zDNA is discovered by Rich. Okay. Now here, why it is be zDNA? Phosphate and the sugar, no, which constitute the backbone, they get arranged in a zigzag manner. That's why it be Z type. Okay. Next, we will see about palindromic DNA sequence. Palindromic DNA. What is palindrome? Palindrome DNA stated by Wilson and Thomas. Wilson and Thomas. What is palindrome? Left to right and the right to left has got the same words. Yes or no? Same letters. Rather we can say same letters. Palindromic DNA in sense the sequence of nucleotides and both the direction are the same. Both the direction are the same. That is, it will be palindromic DNA sequence. What are they? CC, GG, TA, again CC, GG. Okay? When they move in this direction. Other one. You know, cytosine is paired with the guanine and guanine pairs with the cytosine, thymine with the adenine, adenine with the thymine, again cytosine with the guanine and guanine with the cytosine. Yes? Now, yes. From left to right, right to left, no, they have got the same sequence, that is will be palindromic DNA. Right? Now we go to this. Now you can look on this, which constitute the backbone here, pentose sugar and phosphate, which is projected inside nitrogen bases. This is how they get linked. Now this is a structure of a DNA. Now the distance between the two phosphate, that tells about the diameter of a nucleotide, which seems to be 20 Armstrong. Okay, the pentose sugar with the nitrogen base, that link is said to be N-glycosidic bond. Okay, and here the sugar with the phosphate is a phosphodiester bond. How you can calculate the length of the DNA here? The number of base pair is multiplied with the distance between two adjacent base pair. Distance between the two adjacent base pair is the same for all kind of organism, unicellular, multicellular, prokaryotes, eukaryotes, for all that is remain the same. 0.34 10 power minus 9 meter. The length of the DNA in a human, number of base pairs we have studied, the diploid set 6.6 into 10 power 9, and when it gets multiplied with the distance between the two adjacent base pair, we are getting 2.2 meter. So the length of the DNA in each cell is approximately 2.2 meter. In E. coli, the length of the DNA, they are given a length of the DNA here. In the case of a human, they ask you to find out the length of the DNA. So how you can do? Multiplying the number of base pair with the distance between the adjacent base pair. In the case of E. coli, they are given a length of the DNA. Length of the DNA is they are given 1.36 millimeter. You have to find out number of base pair. How you can find out here? The length of the DNA divided by what distance between the adjacent base pair. 1.36 into 10 power minus 3 divided by 0.34 into 10 power minus 9. So what you are getting here? The number of base pair here The length of the DNA in a E. coli bacteria is about 4 into 10 power 6 base pair. Now, this 2.2 meter, the length of the DNA human, they should accommodate a small space called the nucleus. So that require a special packing or the folding one. Okay, that is what DNA packing we are going to see now. Okay, packing of a DNA. Packing of a DNA helix. The average distance between this already we have seen about what is that? The length of the DNA is 2.2 meter. Okay, the length of the DNA is considered to be a greater than the dimension of a nucleus. Okay, dimension of a nucleus. So the number of base pairs already we have seen. The number of base pair in E. coli is 4.6 into 10 power 6. The total length there 1.36 millimeter the case of E. coli bacteria. So the long sized DNA, should get accommodate a small area of a nucleus. Okay, right? How can is possible? Only by packing. Packing in sense folding in sense compaction, compactly arranged. Okay, DNA is acidic in nature. Why it's an acidic in nature? Due to the presence of large number of phosphate group. They are acidic in nature. So the compaction is made possible only by folding this acid attachment of DNA with the basic protein. In the case of eukaryote, the basic protein is histone protein. Okay? Whereas in the case of a prokaryotes, it's a polyamine. That serves as a basic protein. We'll see in the case of DNA packaging in a prokaryotic cell. DNA is found in the cytoplasm. They are found freely in a cytoplasm. Okay? In a supercoiled state. These coils are maintained by, this coiling structure is get maintained by non-histone basic protein. Like a polyamine in the case of a prokaryotes. This compact structure, the DNA with a non-histone protein is said to be nucleoid. That is called as a nucleoid. This nucleoid is otherwise called as a genophore. Okay. Now in the case of eukaryotes, the eukaryotes are packaging, DNA packaging eukaryotes, it is carried with the help of a histone protein. Histone protein are basic in nature, and it is rich in a basic protein, that is amino acids like lysine and arginine. Okay. Now the DNA with histone protein, this compact structure is said to be nucleosome. Now when I say about histone protein, there are 5 types of histone protein. Okay, what are they? H1, H2A, H2B, H3 and H4. Okay, these are the 5 types. In this, these 4 types that occur in pair, they constitute histone octamer. And this H1 help in linking of a 2 nucleosome. So they are said to be linker. Okay. Now this one histone are positively charged and DNA is negatively charged. So this DNA, this one histone protein wrap around that. Histone protein is wrapped by DNA. That we'll see now. packaging of DNA. The case of E. coli, DNA no, is not scattered throughout the cell. They found freely in the cytoplasm. Okay, and the DNA is a negatively charged, which is get wrapped with a positively charged protein, that is non-histone protein. This two structures, compact structures, said to be nucleoid. Now in the case of eukaryotes, yes, there are positively charged basic protein called histone. Histone are rich in the basic amino acids residue called lysine and arginine. I told you histone is 5 types, and they get paired H2A, H2B, H3, H4. They get paired and they form a 8 histone, that is histone octamer. This is what? Nucleosome. You can see this one histone octamer, okay, and H1 is a linker which help to link that another nucleosome. So the histone octamer with the DNA, the structure is said to be nucleosome. So negatively charged DNA is wrapped around histone octamer to give a nucleosome. So now when you take this nucleosome, now when you observe under the microscope, it looks like beads that arrange on a string called a chromosome. Okay, chromatin fiber. A typical nucleosome contains how many base pairs? 200 base pair. Total number of a nucleosome in a human, no? That is 6.6. This is what the total number of a base pair, right? Which is divided by what? The nucleosome base pair. So what you are getting? 3.3 into 10 power 7 base pair. So total number of nucleosome. How many nucleosome? This structure, the bead-like structure is present, no? 3.3 into 10 power 7. 10 power 7. Nucleosome, no, that constitute a repeating unit that forms a chromatin. As I said, chromatin is a thread-like, okay, the structure, and they got a colored bodies. Okay, right. Nucleosomes that appear under the microscope like beads on a string. Once again. Now you know the packaging of this, the packaging of a DNA at higher level, no? Packaging of a DNA at higher level requires some additional protein. Additional set of protein, okay? That protein should be acidic in nature. They are collectively referred as a non-histone chromosomal protein. Non-histone chromosomal protein in short, that is NHC. Okay, NHC, non-histone chromosomal protein. So the packaging of DNA requires the packaging of DNA at a higher level requires some additional protein that should be acidic in nature. There should be non-histone chromosomal protein, in short NHC. Now when I say about NHC, no, are of 3 types. This NHC are of 3 types. What are they? First one is a scaffold or structural NHC. Okay. Next comes functional NHC. They are nothing but polymerase enzymes. Polymerase enzymes are of 2 types. One is a DNA polymerase, other one is said to be RNA polymerase. Okay, that we study about that, the role of this polymerase later. Next one is a regulatory NHC. Regulatory in sense, no? Yes, you can take an example HMG, that is high mobility group protein. High mobility group, okay, that comes out of the protein. High mobility group protein, which controls gene expression. Okay, right. One more point. Now in the nucleus, no, there are some region of a chromatin. If you take a chromatin, there are some regions, no, are loosely packed, and their stains light, and some are densely packed and their stains dark. What is this? Stains light, loosely packed is called as euchromatin, and densely packed dark stain, no, are called as heterochromatin. Okay. Now when you say euchromatin, no, are transcriptionally active. This one transcriptionally inactive. What is transcription? I tell you, and then we end up this session. Now when you say central dogma of the cell is given by Watson. Dogma of the cell, it tells about DNA. Yes, the information of a DNA is get transferred or copied to mRNA, and mRNA plays an important role in synthesis of a protein, and this step is said to be replication. This I number it. Okay, the first step is called as DNA replication. Okay, DNA can replicate by itself. Okay, self replication. Second one, yes, the information from DNA is get copied or transferred to mRNA. That process said to be transcription. And mRNA plays an important role in a what? Protein synthesis. That step is said to be translation. We are seeing that euchromatin is transcriptionally active. That is what? Transcription process. The information from DNA is get copied or transferred to mRNA, or the information in a DNA is get decoded by mRNA. That step is said to be transcription. Okay, thank you.